President Biden upset about shrinkflation, ageism is impacting Americans, and career cushioning. Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on foxbusiness.com written by Eric Ravel titled, President Biden Slams Shrinkflation in Super Bowl Sunday Video. According to the author, President Joe Biden took to social media on Sunday ahead of the Super Bowl to criticize food and beverage companies for shrinkflation consumers have encountered as companies downsize their products to compensate for higher input costs. I watched the video. President Biden said, and I'll quote, "It's Super Bowl Sunday, and if you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller, bag of chips have fewer chips, but they're still charging just as much. As an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. It's a ripoff. Some companies are trying to pull a fast one by shrinking the products little by little and hoping you won't notice. Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played for suckers. I'm calling on companies to put a stop to this. Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now." Well, my friends, I'm going to share my thoughts. President Biden said he is going to call on companies to put a stop to this. He didn't say which companies he was going to call on. Is he hoping they are just going to listen to his video and change their practices? If he called out specific companies in his video by name, perhaps they would be more likely to pay attention and consider changing some of their business practices. In his video, there were some items sitting on a table which included a package of Oreo cookies, a bag of Doritos, and Breyer's ice cream. There were some other items, but the manufacturer names were not visible. With all of the resources at his disposal, he could have had a team of people compare certain products in 2024 by weight to the same products from, say, 4 or 5 years ago, and then compare prices as well. He could have called out the manufacturers by name. He could have opened up a bag of chips and shown how much air was in the bag. He could have put those chips on a scale and showed how much you get for the money. In my opinion, it takes more than just being fed up. He needs to do something about it, other than just making a 48-second long video to post on X, formerly known as Twitter. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad he is taking notice of shrinkflation. I just don't think a 48-second long video is going to do anything about the problem. He could make a video each day about a different product and call out the manufacturer. He could provide evidence to document the shrinkflation to educate Americans and also shame the manufacturer at the same time. In his video, he said, "Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now." Well, how are you going to make sure businesses do the right thing now? Are you going to have conversations with the leadership at these companies? He said the American public is tired of being played for suckers. I have no doubt some Americans do feel this way. It is frustrating to pay more money for less at the grocery store. This makes it even more difficult to put food on the table for some American families. We hear that inflation is coming down and the Fed may cut rates at some point this year. Well, I doubt shrinkflation is going to change much this year, regardless of what the Fed does. Many companies will look for ways to maintain or increase profits. Your average American consumers do not have any influence over big companies. All they can do is be frustrated that their dollar does not stretch as far at the grocery store. What are some American families to do? Here on the channel, I've reported in the past about people who are resorting to credit cards and buy now, pay later loans to pay for their groceries. I have also read stories about food banks that have run out of food. It is sad that many people struggle with food insecurity in America. What big food manufacturers do to maintain or increase profits have far-reaching implications for American families. Shrinkflation is troubling, but there is something even more troubling to me, which is age discrimination. I read an article on foxbusiness.com written by Breck Dumas titled, "Most older workers say they face age discrimination in the workplace." According to the author, as America's population continues to age, older workers' participation in the labor force continues to climb. A study released by Pew Research Center in December found that about 1 in 5 Americans aged 65 and older were employed last year, which is twice the share of that age group that were working 35 years ago. When I read this, I had several thoughts. It is great that older Americans are healthy enough to continue working past age 65. Perhaps this has to do with the advances in modern medicine. Then I wondered if a lot of these people who are working past age 65 are doing so because they just want to keep their mind and body active. While I tried to focus on these positive things, I couldn't help but wonder how many of these people working past age 65 are doing so because they can't survive without the income. From what I have read, the average Social Security check in 2024 is $1,907 per month. While it is great that that is up from $1,848 in 2023, we still aren't talking about a lot of money here. There are a lot of people who are just trying to survive on Social Security alone, which is difficult to do given all of the inflation that we have experienced. The cost of rent, utilities, food, medical, and vehicle expenses can be difficult to cover with Social Security alone. I am sure some people have had to keep working or return to work. There's a problem with this, which the author of this article gets into. The author referenced research from AARP that found roughly 2 in 3 adults ages 50 plus in the labor force, 64%, think older workers face age discrimination in the workplace today. Among those, nearly all, 90%, believe that age discrimination against older workers is common. In addition, just over 1 in 10 report they have been passed up for a promotion or a chance to get ahead because of their age. Well, my friends, this is truly unfortunate because many older workers can bring a lifetime of wisdom and experience to an organization. Even if a company does not tolerate age discrimination, sometimes the managers at the company or the employees that serve on hiring committees may have biases. I really hate to hear about age discrimination. If someone is capable of doing the job, he or she should be given a shot regardless of age. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I read another article today on foxbusiness.com written by Erica Lamberg titled "Career Cushioning, Latest Workplace Trend Has Employees Trying to Protect Themselves Heading into 2024." According to the author, the unpredictability of the state of the American workplace continues to be on the minds of employees as the new year of 2024 beckons. The response to this instability of job security has created a workplace trend known as career cushioning. Workers are setting up Plan B initiatives so that if they should be downsized by their companies, they're prepared for it. Well, my friends, I think having a Plan B is important. Unfortunately, at some companies, you are a name on a spreadsheet. When companies need to remain profitable, your name may be highlighted along with several others for layoffs. The author of this article referenced Taylor Queen, an HR advisor with Insperity in Orlando, Florida, as saying, "Career cushioning is a strategy in which employees add security to their careers by taking proactive steps like attending networking nights, updating their resumes and LinkedIn profiles, and perhaps even applying for jobs." In my opinion, people may want to consider going further than this. Here on the channel, I talk a lot about the importance of having an emergency fund in the event you get laid off. An emergency fund with enough money to cover 3 to 6 months worth of bills could make your life a lot less stressful until you find another job. Something just as important as having an emergency fund is keeping your skills up to date so that you can be one of the best applicants for a new job if you end up unemployed. In addition to keeping your skills up to date in your current field, it might be a good idea to consider learning skills that would allow you to get a job in a completely different field. Let's say we enter an ugly recession and your field slows down across the country. Even if you have up-to-date skills and a strong resume, it might be hard to find a job even if you look great on paper. If you have skills in a different field, you may be able to get back on your feet with gainful employment. In my life, I've spent a lot of time learning different skills. Even though it's been approximately 20 years since I taught public school, I still keep all of my teaching licenses active. I also earned teaching licenses in multiple content areas. I also have a building level administration license, which I keep current. I have a real estate broker's license. I have an insurance producer's license, an auctioneer license, and a bartending license. Mark Cuban once said if he had to start from scratch, he'd work in sales during the day and bartend at night. Well, I went to bartending school and I keep that license in my back pocket in case I ever need it. Hopefully I don't though. If I lost everything and life got really bad, I could rely on any of the licenses that I mentioned. I also have 3 college degrees and a really strong CV. In addition to that, I have all of the property maintenance skills that I learned throughout the years as a landlord. I've always lived frugally and I've always worked very hard. If I lost everything, I'd have no problem starting from zero and rebuilding it all, one way or another. You can always change your life for the better. There's a great movie that came out in 1997 with Anthony Hopkins called The Edge. In the movie, Anthony Hopkins played a billionaire named Charles Morse, whose small plane crashed in the Alaskan wilderness in an area where no one would be looking for him. He had to survive with another man named Bob, who was played by Alec Baldwin. Bob was freaking out about being in the wilderness, but Charles Morse remained level-headed and he was totally okay with the prospect of never being found. He wasn't worried about the possibility of never getting back to the civilized world. At one point in the movie, he tells Bob, "If this is my life, then this is my life, but you can always change your life." This is just a movie, but I thought those were wise words. Whatever life dishes up, you can find a way to survive, but you can also find a way to change your life for the better. That's what he planned to do. I have no doubt he would have flourished in the wilderness had he not found a way back to civilization. In the movie, he eventually made it back to his wife, played by Ellie McPherson. I hope people realize you can change your life. This is better than wallowing in self-pity if life does not go as planned. In the movie, Bob wallowed in self-pity. Bob did not survive in the wilderness, but Charles Morse did survive, and he brought Bob's body back to civilization with him. If I was someone with limited financial resources who solely depended on an employer for my livelihood, I would make sure I had an emergency fund. I would make sure my skill set was up to date, and I would learn skills in a different field as a backup in the event everything in the economy went haywire and I had trouble finding a new job in my occupational area. I worry that some people think unemployment will always remain low and finding a new job won't ever be a problem. This may not always be the case. What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.